I still see memes about this particular look with my hat. But you know what? I stick by it. Hello Vogue, I'm Zendaya and this is my life in looks. All right, shall we begin? Yeah, this is me and Law's early work together. I needed a cute little dress to go to my teen Vogue party. It was a big deal. I'm like 15 years old. So I think I did all right. This was a charity event. It was Halloween themed, so you were supposed to come dressed as somebody or something, and I went dressed as Aaliyah, because old Tommy Hilfiger was her look and her thing, and so this was my interpretation of that. I did my little swoop, and that was my tribute to the one and only. Okay, this is a controversial look. I still see memes about this particular look with my hat, but you know what? I stick by it. Me and Law, we thought it was chic at the time, and I think it's still chic. I will wear it again. I think Law might have this hat. Might have to bring it out of the archives one day. This is my first Oscars experience. I had stayed up quite late the night before having my hair done. I didn't have any kind of credentials or anything. Kind of snuck onto the red carpet because I was like, listen, I have been up all night getting my hair done. We have this amazing Vivienne Westwood dress. Like, I'm getting on this red carpet. And so I kind of shimmied on there, even though I wasn't really supposed to. This is my first Met. I went with Fausto Puglisi. I was 18, I believe, in this picture. I was very nervous, being like, how am I gonna call Law or call my dad or call someone to pick me up when I'm done? How am I gonna get out of here? How am I gonna get home? Because you weren't supposed to bring your phone in. And then I had my phone, but I had nowhere to put it. So then I had to get Fausto. And I was like, well, if we split up at any point in the night, then I can't find my phone. But it went really well. I'm very proud of the look. First Met as a young 18-year-old girl. This felt very fitting for that moment. This is my first Vogue cover. I was 20. I felt very, very honored. At the time, I was still doing my Disney show, and this was happening at the same time, and I was kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? My little nieces are in this as well, and Law's in this, inside. It feels very special because I got to have family with me. The feather look, I think it was Prada, I believe. It looks great. I think it was beautiful texture for the cover. My first Vogue shoot, I was just excited to be there. I was like, put me in whatever you want. This is The Greatest Showman premiere in Australia. One of my all-time favorites. With Law and I, we always find inspiration from films that I'm doing. A butterfly isn't the theme per se, but it is this idea of being costumey. You're the greatest showman, everything is drama, and so that's what this dress was to me. It's like being literal, being dramatic, being entertaining. Also, that day, there was tons of butterflies. I went onto the carpet and there was butterflies everywhere, and I was like, it's a sign, you know. Okay. This one's another memed, but I loved it. It was Marc Jacobs. I love a suit in any kind of form, and it just was fun, and I loved how extreme the proportions were. It wasn't necessarily a red carpet event. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm casually gonna wear this straight off the runway Marc Jacobs suit. You know what I mean? It was fun and dramatic. One of my all-time favorite Met looks. You know, Law had this idea of doing a Joan of Arc inspired thing, and we'd seen a lot of sketches and ideas and references. The day before, going there, putting it on, I was like, wow. It was so heavy because of the beading, but it was so beautifully constructed, and it's Versace. And typically, I can handle a night out, you know, with my heels and everything. I've been wearing heels for a long time, but I don't know, it was something about a mixture of wearing these platforms and the heaviness of my dress. I was struggling. I was like, I need to sit down. But it was all worth it. The hair also just completed the character. This year I was invited to be a co-chair. I have no idea what I'm wearing yet, so I can't spoil it for you guys. We're still figuring it out. This is Miss Rue Bennett. I'm very grateful and honored to play this character. I mean, I have to give most credit to our costume designer, Heidi, who is just incredible at what she does and is so thoughtful. It's present in everything, you know, from my chucks, that are my personal chucks that I've worn down quite a bit, and we've had to replace the laces many times. I have a lot of her stuff that I wear often. My second Vogue cover. We shot this with Tyler on the beach. I'm very grateful to have a Vogue cover. It's a big deal. So to do it again was pretty special. It was quite simple, you know, it was very simple hair and makeup. I've done a lot of finger waves in my life, so it was a good go-to. It was a fun day on the beach. This is the Spider-Man Far From Home premiere. This is Armani, and I wasn't sure about the dress. I don't know why. I was just overthinking it a little bit, and I was like, do we have more options? Do we have more options? I was tripping, but it ended up being perfect, and obviously theme dressing inspired by the Spider-Man suit, which was red and black in that film. Yeah. This is the Emmys. The first time I went to the Emmys, actually. Vera Wang. This is like us being sexy. You know, like, ooh, this is a sexy look. You know what I mean? I'm giving the kids sexy yet. I used like semi-permanent hair dye to make my hair red for the Spider-Man press tour in general. And then it kind of started to like wash off a little bit. And so it still was like a little bit red. I was really into emerald green at the time. I just had gotten like new dining room chairs that were emerald green, and I felt like it would look really beautiful with like the red hair. It just felt right. That was my emerald green era. This is the Critics' Choice Awards. This Tom Ford breastplate was really special. I still have it. They weren't my boobs originally, and I put it on. It didn't quite fit right. I was like, well, I really want to wear this, but could we maybe do like my own, you know, and they worked it out. I got this scan done. It's almost like a hairdryer. Like they literally come in with this thing and they scan you, it uploads to a computer, and that's it. So it didn't take much time at all. Like I thought that it would be more a dramatic process, but yeah, I mean, technology, people. The Emmys. This is the time that I won. The first time that I won. In my head, I was like, if I freak out, right? If something bad happens, since this is on my computer, I could just slam the computer shut. You know what I mean? Like, if like, oh no, it's the Wi-Fi went out. You know what I mean? Like, I always can just exit. That was nice. And then also I had my family all around me. I was in my own living room. It was a very special night, and I wore this Armani dress. It was like a princess dress. The skirt is so voluminous. I took it off, and like it still stands up. It holds its structure. So it was like literally standing in my closet. One that I will not forget. This is another Oscars moment. Valentino. Pier Paolo has always been such a fun collaborator and so generous and thoughtful. And we had this Cher reference because who doesn't want to reference Cher? And Pier Paolo is known for his use of color and bright colors. And so we found this really beautiful, almost neon yellow. The dress was quite simple, and the hair was quite simple, also to reflect this like Cher inspiration. It's really long. There was no wind on the carpet, but as soon as I went there, all of a sudden there was wind. Law made a joke about like having a leaf blower or something, and everybody's like, did you really? Like, were you really on the carpet with a leaf blower? Like, no, oh my God, no. We could be, you know, dramatic with the looks, but I'm not like that, you know. The wind just wanted to visit us in that moment, and it worked out. This is Venice, my first Venice Film Festival with Dune. Another example of theme dressing, but this dress I chose years before there was a bodice thing that had gone down the runway, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that would be amazing if we could make that a dress. It feels very Dune to me. It's the landscape of Dune, it's the color palette, it's kind of like a shell. It looks wet, but it's dry. There's something that reminded me of the still suit a little bit, just in its construction, felt Dune. This is a Rick Owens number, the Dune premiere in London. I was very excited about this one as well. I was actually like in the middle of shooting Euphoria during this press tour, shooting some really intense scenes, I'll just say that, the day I left, and then shooting some very intense scenes the day I got home. Because of the like how it's made and the construction and the fabric, like it doesn't wrinkle. So like I could sit in it, I could move in it, I wouldn't disrupt its beautiful shape. I don't know if it was reminiscent of the sandworm, or there's something I think about Rick Owens in general that feels very futuristic or otherworldly. This piece that kind of goes on and around, like it holds its shape in a really beautiful way. And there's something kind of like effortless about it too, because it's not perfect. There's an imperfectness to the way it kind of falls and drapes, but you know that it's intentional and you know that it's thoughtful. This is the CFDA Fashion Awards. Another very special look, collaboration with Vera Wang. Law had a very specific reference that literally was this. A bandeau kind of top, and then kind of column skirt with this, I don't know what you would call it, like this kind of shape on top. Red felt like a very like, I don't know, it's like a power color. I think everyone looks beautiful in the color. But I was also very excited because Iman presented me with the award, which was like, are you joking? Like she's so kind and beautiful and warm. She did that for me, and then after like had like the biggest hug and like the warmest moment, and I felt like I'd known her for like forever. So that was really, really special. The Emmys again, we're back. Okay, so the first time, like I said, I got to do it from my living room. And this time I was like, wait, there's a possibility that I would have to get up on that stage in front of like actual people. Like I can't close the computer. I can't blame it on bad Wi-Fi. Like I have to go there. Honestly, I wish I could have enjoyed it more because I was just so like tense the whole time that I couldn't really enjoy it until it was over. And then once it was over, I was like, oh, God, that's over. And this is Valentino yet again. It is a reference to an old Valentino dress, and it was more fitted at the bottom. It went into, I think, more of like a mermaid shape, but it had this bodice with the line and the little bow. And so we sent that as a reference. I think this was my first time wearing like a real gown that was all black. This suit, everybody knows it, and I was like, I wonder if I could wear that. And so I sent it to Law, and I was like, what if we wore this for the premiere? He was like, are you being serious? And I was like, yeah. He was like, don't play with me. Like, don't get me started on something and make me do this, and you're gonna like chicken out at the last minute and be too scared to wear it. And I was like, I mean, if we can do it. One of the men who originally made it was with us, and he was like, you know, we can try it, but there's also a world where certain parts won't fit. Like our proportions might be very different. My elbow is a little bit lower, or my whatever, then it doesn't work because there's certain hinges and places where your arms and things need to move. But we tried it on, and I was like, guys, I think it's fitting. It fit like a glove, and I was like, this is so crazy, and everybody was like, whoa, like, you know, it just felt very like, oh, it's meant to be, whatever. Immediately, I think after wearing it for like 10 minutes or less than that, I got like really like lightheaded. The metal conducts and holds onto heat very quickly and kind of traps heat in. I'm wearing a complete bodysuit, so there's a barrier, so you already have a layer of material kind of on your skin. As the days were coming up, I was like, this is a bad idea. Like, why did I do this? But I put it on, I went out there and I did it. And this obviously was the most recent Oscars. It fit me really well and I felt beautiful in it, and that's it. Something about like the material, that shiny thing and the way it's constructed, and it had this really strong, like well-made zipper. I think maybe because we'd had all these very heightened looks during the Dune press tour, it was like, this was us just kind of taking it easy, going old Hollywood and just keeping it simple. All right, it's my most recent Vogue cover. This was really special because I got to shoot with Annie. She was so fun to shoot with. She had these beautiful references for poses, and she was hugely inspired by movement and dance. And she's so specific. She knows what she wants. She knows what works. They're all couture looks, you know? So it's like, that was another kind of difficult thing, is figuring out how to move in these looks, some of which hadn't gone down the runway yet. And I was like, oh shit, like I can't mess up their garments if they have the show tomorrow. But Annie, she's just kind of like, can we, you know, move this, and can we, you know, I'm like, oh, careful. But yeah, we just tried to have fun and give these garments a different feeling with movement. I made this signature when I was like 13. It's a shooting star, and we're just gonna be, we're gonna be okay with that. Thank you so much, Vogue, for doing this with me. This has been my life and looks, and I hope to see you all soon.